All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the sincere apostles and notice of a great millstone who are my teachers, and peace and salutations to you brothers out there preaching this word in truth and sincerity. This is the brother Yahweh Sap with another lesson, and today just going into some more news and prophecy, man, lining up the scriptures with what's going on in today's events. All right, because what we're seeing is the downfall of America, aka Babylon the Great in the scriptures, or the daughter of Babylon. All right, we're seeing the collapse happen very quickly. All right, and you're seeing that our people, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, or North American Indians, you true biblical Israelites, are waking up more and more as the days go by, man. And it's a beautiful time to be alive, man, because we know that our salvation is right around the corner. And so I have a few clips of some videos that I want to play for you, brothers and sisters, man. And Yahweh Razah, this lesson is edifying, uplifting of the spirit. Know that we are in the end days. And I want to go ahead and start it off with this, man. The book of Isaiah, chapter 13. And I'm going to start at verse 9. Behold, the day of Yahweh cometh, cruel, both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate, and he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it. And these are the times that we're coming into. All these sinners, man, who are not repenting, returning unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, hey, you're going to die in your sins, man. All right, and it's going to be a very painful death pertaining to Second Ezra 9. All right, the Lord is going to have either these missiles melt you, all right, from the inside out, or it's like from the outside within, meaning that hey, you're like it says in the book of Zechariah, your eyeballs are gonna be melting in your sockets, man. That's how hot that heat is gonna be from these missiles. Or if you don't die by that, you're gonna get taken up during Jacob's trouble, during martial law, all right, during the time that Esau is gonna come down with that great wrath, and we already seen that day approaching. All right, with Biden closing the borders, all right, and trying to take control of the chaos that's here in America, man. And so it says, continuing in Isaiah 13 and verse 10, says, for the stars of heaven and the constellations thereof shall not give their light. The sun shall be darkened in its going forth, and the moon shall not cause her light to shine. Meaning what? There's going to be mass confusion going on. People aren't going to know left from right, up from down. They're not going to know what to do in these days. Now, you do have a lot of preppers that are preparing for World War III, preparing for what they call Armageddon. All right, they're preparing for all these prophecies to take place without even knowing that it's prophecy, but they're getting ready. Why? Because they see the destruction of America is very nigh. All right, and it's in all these little signs that we're seeing happen in America: the immigration issue, all right, the housing issue, the food issue. They're calling it a restaurant apocalypse. All right, more and more people are not able to buy out to eat, and that's a huge sign of America's downfall because that's what is really convenient here is that fast food. All right, and so it says in verse 11, Isaiah 13 and 11, and I will punish the world for their evil and the wicked for their iniquity, and I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease and will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. And that's right, and that's what we're seeing, man. Esau, Edom, all that pride, even the wickedness of our people, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and North American Indians, you true biblical Israelites, um, that pride is being taken away from you as well. And why? And why is that? Because the Heavenly Father is starting to judge these people, man, and it's happened continuously. You're having these plagues drawn nigh. You have the cicadas coming out of the ground, man. All right, you're having all these plagues of sicknesses coming. I just watched a video that Apostle Zahar did about these airlines being shut down. All right, and the airlines were being shut down because the people that were on that plane, they all got sick, so the Most High is having these plagues return as well, and it's because he's punishing the wicked for their evilness. All right, for all the abominations that they have caused to come upon the planet Earth. And through this wickedness that has been allowed to run rampant upon the planet Earth, you're seeing the trees die. All right, you're seeing the animals die. You're seeing the water get polluted, the air get polluted. All right, everything is starting to die off under the rulership of the wicked. And let's matter of fact, let's go ahead and grab that real quick. The book of Proverbs, chapter 29 and verse 2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. And we're seeing that coming more and more as the days go by. And so this is all according to prophecy, and it's a beautiful thing to see because this signals our salvation. All right, and so I have like I said, I have a few videos I want to play and then we'll get into some more scriptures and how brothers it's edifying.
It's happening right before our eyes. America is becoming a renter nation right now. Gone are the days of the American dream with the white picket fence. Buying a house has now become out of reach for many Americans. The average
And why is that happening? Because you have all these wars that are taking place, and America is being drawn into every single one of them. The Israel Hamas war, the Russian Ukraine war. You have the Chinese Taiwan war. You're having a war over there in Brazil against the British. It's all these wars that are taking place that America is funding, providing weapons to, and slowly but surely, it's causing the economy to just completely crumble. All right, and that's why people are having more and more of a hard time paying mortgage payments. All right, they're having more and more hard time buying houses. They're having a hard time doing all these things because the price of everything is going up. You have food prices going up. You have gas prices going up. Student loan prices going up. Mortgage payments are going up, and he kind of explains it in this video. Um, you're having all these prices skyrocket, and people that are working 9 to 5, their little $7 to like $20 an hour isn't able to get them by. Now people are having to make six figures in order to live somewhat comfortably, not have to worry about bills or worry about living from paycheck to paycheck. But for the rest of us who are poor, we don't have anything to our name. We're struggling in the water here, or should I say, the American people are struggling in the water there. They're about to drown.
average 30-year mortgage reached a record high for 2024 at over 7%, according to Freddie Mac.
Mm.
Now, as you know, these mortgage rates have put a massive damper on the home buying market as rates make mortgage costs more expensive and more Americans are
Mhm.
finding home ownership out of reach. On top of this, homeowners who are locked into record low mortgage rates are hesitant to sell. It's understandable why these people are holding on to their properties. Why swap out a 3% rate for a 7% rate? It's been estimated, of course, that more than 90% of American homeowners are locked into rates just below 6%. So the math doesn't make sense for most homeowners. In fact, a Redfin survey reported that nearly 2 in 5 homeowners right now don't believe they'd be able to buy their home in today's housing environment. Think about that. That's
And so this is signaling America's collapse, man. Because when people are not able to buy homes, that's a huge problem. All right, and then the fact that they're having to switch over to just renting. Hey, he brings it out in this video, but like Klaus Schwab said, hey, you will own nothing and you will be happy. These people, they're not going to own their cars, they're not going to own their homes, they're not going to own their own businesses. The Esau Edom, his whole plan is to separate the rich from the poor, and he's doing it through the ways of these wars. All right, he's doing it through the Ponzi scheme, causing these banks to collapse, meaning that they're more hesitant to dish out loans. With these immigrations coming in, with the immigration people coming in, they don't have enough money to keep everything afloat. They're already 34 trillion dollars in debt, and it's going the $1 trillion, it's going up every 100 days. So as we continue to progress through this kingdom's days, it's slowing down. And let's go ahead and grab that. The book of Ecclesiastes chapter 12 and verse 1. Remember now thy creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, and we're coming into those evil days very soon. And it says, nor the end. Matter of fact, you can call this the beginning of those evil days. You're already having homelessness at an all-time high. You're having murder rates at an all-time high, suicide rates. These things are the beginning of sorrows. And so it says, reading that again, Ecclesiastes 12 and verse 1, remember now thy creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them, while the sun or light or the moon or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain. And meaning that while there's still a way to see, while there's still a way to, there's a way, there's a path that you can take. It's not a whole bunch of confusion. It's now high time to seek Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai. And it says, in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease, because they are few, and those that look out of the windows be darkened, and the door shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. And that's right, it's going to be, America is about to become very chaotic and very quiet because there's going to be a lot of death. You're going to be able to hear, like the scriptures say in Second Ezra 16. It's going to be so much judgment going on that a man is going to desire to even hear the voice of another man. And why is that? Because all these things are coming to take the place. The lack of bread, the lack of water, all right, the lack of natural resources like gas, oil, all right. You're not going to be able to get any of these things uh, as conveniently as you're getting them right now. All these things are going to be brought to a halt. And let's go ahead and get in that word, grinding, oppressive, burdensome. Let's see. A breaking, rubbing of one thing against another, mechanical device for grinding grain from food, um, burn powder, profit. Salaki, I'm looking at something else. The grinding, to destroy by crushing, um, to gnash the teeth, to scrape, to scratch. So you're working, pretty much. And so all that working, all that ability to be able to go out, this is all coming to a stop. All right, and then the housing, all this is coming to a stop. So I'm gonna keep letting it play.
Housing environment. Think about that. That's how stretched thinly Americans are right now, just that little margin. There's been a supply issue in the housing market for years now. But because of the way that interest rates have influenced home buying trends, the demand for rental properties has increased nationwide. We don't have enough of them. We have a housing crisis.
Hmm.
So many people are priced out of this home buying market, with the average monthly payment on a mortgage being north of $2,000. It's incredibly expensive to buy a home today. And a recent Zillow report found that new home buyers would need to make six figures in order to afford a house in this current housing market. This figure is up to 80% in 2020. There's such a massive housing shortage, and interest rates are one key indicator that we need to move in order to more supply the market right now. A new report from Realtor.com found that the supply of available homes has dramatically decreased 34% since before the pandemic. So the supply issue right now, combined with all these higher rates, is creating a massive barrier to entry in the housing market, especially for millennials and Gen Z. And for these generations, especially, America has become a renter nation. Senior economist at Nationwide, whose name is Ben Ayers, he commented on the scenario recently. He said, quote, "Market conditions for home buyers remain challenging, with few homes listed and costs for ownership still climbing." So despite strong fundamentals for demand from demographics and a strong labor market, many first-time homebuyers are being shut out of the market by elevated financing rates and rising prices, he says, end quote. It's not getting better anytime soon, by the way, because when you look at CoreLogic's new projections right now, they predict home prices to rise slowly and steadily for the rest of the year, for the rest of 2024. And I don't see them coming down anytime soon, even into 2025. So things are not looking up for anyone looking to buy a home right now. Remember, it's all about supply and demand. And especially for those first-time home buyers, those young home buyers, they're being priced out. And a lot of baby boomers have been swooping in buying these homes that have cash on hand. So clearly the best alternative is renting. Many, if not most people, start out their adulthood renting. I did. Everyone I know started out renting. Unless like daddy came in and bought you a home, renting is great for anyone who is establishing their career, maybe moving cities frequently. Why do you want to be locked in and not being able to move? Renting provides a great opportunity to
And so, this place is about to be. We see that it's collapsing, man.
credit.
Everything about this place is being destroyed. And so these things are going to gradually and continually get worse. All right, so I'll go ahead and move on to my next one that I wanted to go ahead and watch. Uh, where was it? There's this one because at the
They
same
don't want
time
you to know
of
this.
these things
Drivers,
happening, so like
if
I'm
you
gonna turn
pay
it
for
down
your
while
own
this dad
car
is playing.
insurance,
But at the
watch
same
this
time of these
video.
things happening,
Now
you
you see
have
he did what
Esau
there's
Edom. He's being exposed for being just a complete demon, being a liar. Everything that he's been telling us has been being found out to be a lie. All right, meaning that you can't trust a word that this man says. And so I was watching this earlier as well, and Dr. Fauci, he's being exposed for lying about the C-19 pandemic, man. And this is no longer, this isn't a conspiracy theory. This is actual. This is coming out on the news. This man is in front of Congress right now, getting grilled for all the lies that he's been told. This dude is getting death threats, all types of stuff because of the lies that he's told, because of the things, the wickedness that he's tried to hide. And it's no longer, the Most High isn't allowing this wickedness to be hid anymore, man. And so I'll let a few minutes of this video play, and then we'll get into some scriptures.
Switched around his emails and personal devices while managing the pandemic, Hillary Clinton style. But will it matter? Now, here's the thing that we need to remember, because we're going to watch this. We will have our emotions evoked, most likely with rage. And
Salakia, I don't know why it's doing that. Damn ad, Salaki.
evoked, most likely with rage. And we will say, oh my God, we got him. But we don't really, because Congress doesn't have the power to prosecute anyone. Most politicians will use this clip, meaning their participation. They'll clip it up, they'll put it on Twitter, and they will use it to fundraise to you. That's really it. We know that. But what can they do when he's lying to them? Well, they can say, they can refer this to the Justice Department and say he lied to Congress. He committed fraud. They can do that. Will the Justice Department pick it up? Right? Okay. You want to take odds on that. But at least it's here. We can at least see.
Hey, and that's how you know that this judicial system here in America is completely effed up, man. Everything about this place is backward. It's turned upside down. These men have been able to get away with their lies, with the wickedness that they commit behind closed doors. All right, and they've been doing this for centuries now, and all these things are starting to be found out about him because ultimately, matter of fact, let's go ahead and grab the scripture. The Most High is revealing them, and that's why these people there, it's laughable. She said, "Is he going to be something along the lines prosecuted?" And she laughed at it. Why? Because she knows that this place is a joke. Everybody that has any type of common sense, that is watching the politics that are going on, that is watching the news around the world going on, it's laughable because you see that there's no justice that is going on, man. You see that everything is being allowed to happen, and it's because the more that we get closer to Yahushua's return, the more that this devil is being exposed. We can see that his agenda, because you can see everybody speaking against this place, right? They're speaking against the Israel Hamas war. They're speaking against the Russian Ukraine war, about America participating in these things, about America supplying arms and going and invading these foreign countries, the immigration issues that are going on. You see people speaking out against it, and yet these things are still being allowed to happen. And this is why people are starting to wake up and see, okay, this place was never for us. This place never had any type of love towards its people. And the reason why people are starting to believe that is because now that they're not doing the things that the people are requesting. The government, it's quote unquote democracy, right? So that you're supposed to vote, you're supposed to have a head count of people who are with you and people who are against you. And the people who are against America it's overwhelming. And yet America is still going through with their nefarious plans, right? So all these things are starting to be exposed. And so this is the book of Isaiah chapter 47. I'm going to jump right to the point, verse 3. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yeah, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man. And that's right. Esau's nakedness is being uncovered. His shame is being seen. Everything that exposes man is being revealed. All right. All the private parts that he kept hidden, hey, well, now they're coming out. All the emails that he's deleted, hey, they're being brought back up. All right. And why? Because the Most High, hey, he is uncovering, or matter of fact, let's read verse 2, Isaiah 47 and 2. Take the millstones and grind mill, uncover thy locks, make bare the leg, uncover the thigh, pass over the rivers. Hey, so the Most High, hey, he's lifting up Babylon's skirt and showing how disgusting and polluted this place is underneath all the bravado, all the all the beauty. He's showing how really nasty this place is, man. You know, and so
It's here.
it's like you. I don't know why he keeps doing this.
We can at least see this. Now, I am just as pissed about Anthony Fauci as the next person, but here is a reminder: please don't threaten him. Don't threaten him personally. It's not the right thing to do, because he is tested, especially because he testified today that he's the victim here, not anyone who was hurt by lockdowns or vaccines.
There have been everything from harassments by emails, texts, letters of myself, my wife, my 3 daughters. There have been credible death threats leading to the arrests of 2 individuals. And credible death threats means someone who clearly was on their way to kill me. And it's required my having protective services essentially all the time. It is very troublesome to me. It is much more troublesome because they've involved my wife and my 3 daughters.
Yeah, so this man is being threatened. And the reason why he's being threatened is because it's coming out that all he did was lie. And so I'm gonna jump up in this video to show what things were being brought out about him.
We really don't want people to think of feeding food like ours as spoiling their dogs.
Today.
So Dr. Fauci is going to be testifying tomorrow. What are you expecting?
Well, you know, our investigation has confirmed that he did indeed lie. He committed a felony. He said that they did not fund, that the NIH did not fund gain-of-function, dangerous research in China. We now know that to be untrue. We know he committed a felony. But what we've discovered now is that there was a massive cover-up from the very beginning. There was a behind-the-scenes effort to change the opinion of people. Many of the Fauci colleagues all believed that the virus did come from the lab. Their opinions were all changed, but then all evidence was then covered up. They began using burner phones. They began using couriers. They said, we can't do things electronically. I can take things by hand to his house. It sounds more like the CIA than the NIH, but it's unbelievable the amount of things that went on. They say, oh, we're safe now. I've deleted all those emails. I think we're safe now. What in the world would they actually mean by we think we're safe now? So there was a massive cover-up, and there's so many people that need to be interviewed in addition to Fauci. We have David Morenz, who worked for him for 20 years. We have the FOIA lady, the woman at the IT woman at NIH, who was explaining to them how to avoid FOIA and how to break the law. She needs to be deposed. There's all kinds of stones that could be unturned, but ultimately the buck stops with Anthony Fauci. He was in charge of the place, and he has the responsibility not only for the cover-up, but also responsibility for letting dangerous research go on that led to a pandemic, in all likelihood led to a pandemic that killed millions of people.
But I mean, think about that.
And if you don't remember, when the pandemic was first going on, who were they blaming? Hey, they were blaming you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and North American Indians, man. All right. Hey, they were blaming you so-called you true biblical Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and North American Indians. Moreover, you so-called Negroes, man. Hey, painting you as the face of everything that's wrong, man. Hey, telling you that the reason why the C-19 is spreading is because, hey, you quote unquote so-called black people don't know how to stay at home, man. And these are the things that your own government was saying about you. And now it's coming out that it was all a lie. Hey, so this is why, hey, it tells you in the book of Sirach, never to trust thine enemy. But I wanted to grab this before I grab that. The book of Psalms, chapter 55, and jumping down to verse 20. He hath put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He hath broken his covenant. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. Because ultimately, the reason why Dr. Fauci, he didn't want to say that these experiments, I guess I'll call them, these experiments that were taking place over there in the Wuhan lab. Hey, not only did he not want to be blamed for it, but also, hey, he didn't want people to come out and find out what the true agenda of these elites of the world is, man. All right, which ultimately is to do what? To chip you, all right, to put you under their heel, man, and to take everything away from you, have you own nothing, and roll over you with an iron fist. And so, continuing in the book of Psalms, chapter 55 and verse 21, again, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. Hey, and that's right. So, everything that he was telling you was all a lie, man. His words were smoother than butter, yet war was in his heart. All right. And this is why you're never supposed to trust thine enemy. And this is why, me personally, I don't trust Esau Edom at all. Anything that he says and that comes out, you know what? I do my research. I make sure before I believe it, because look at what happened. Hey, for 4 years now, this man and his company have been saying that it wasn't because of them. There was no illegal experiments going on. There was nothing taking place behind closed doors. Meanwhile, they were deleting emails. All right, they were moving very shadily. all right, all right, like Slim Shady. And so that being said, you can never trust them. And so now all these quote unquote conspiracy theorists that have been held as liars, they've been persecuted, they've been called crazy. Now things aren't looking so crazy. Now things are starting to turn against these people in a very vicious way, man. Hey, the Heavenly Father is having the tables flip very quickly. All right. So the book of Sirach, chapter 12 and verse 10. Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou hadst wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust hath not been altogether wiped away. And that's right. So you got to beware of your enemy, constantly being on guard, man. Making sure that you're not drunk off the philosophies that he preaches. All right, making sure that you're not believing everything that comes out of his mouth, because while he does speak truth, most of it is lie. All right, and that's where he gets by, man. It's speaking truth inside of the lie to make it seem like the lie was true, because when you go into it, you can find some truth to it. But hey, these are all like smoke screens to keep you distracted from the real things that are taking place around the world, right? So this is the book of First Peter, chapter 5 and verse 8. And it reads, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. First and foremost, spiritually. All right, Satan is walking around, all right, seeking whom he may devour. He's jumping on dudes and turning them against the brotherhood, man. All right, and so you got to rebuke that spirit, man, and call upon the names of Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, and pray that that spirit gets removed. All right, and pray that you're able to overcome Satan, because he's not only moving spiritually, he's also moving physically through these different Edomites that are in charge over you, and that are in charge over the whole world. And so you got to continuously be on your watch, continuously be on your guard, because it's nonstop. And so I'll go ahead and move on to my next clip, man. So my next clip is going to be this right here. All right, Biden
Time
is
to help people customize and save with Liberty Mutual.
He's now
Forgot my
doing
wallet.
what seems to be
Do you ever
an
wonder
election,
how the swamp
an
spends
election
your
deal,
hard-earned money?
and
They drop
with that
large
election
sums
deal,
of money we don't have on
he's
crazy.
now putting a halt to illegal immigrants coming into the U.S. All right, and so I'm gonna let a little bit of this play, and then we'll move on to the next.
I'm moving past Republican obstruction and using the executive authorities available to me as president to do what I can on my own to address the border.
We're learning the president's executive action would temporarily close the U.S.-Mexico border.
Breaking news coming out today that in a major shift, President Joe Biden has issued executive orders allowing temporary border closure to migrants. Let me know your thoughts. Are we finally seeing President Joe Biden come around to the warnings we've been hearing for months from FBI Director Wray that dangerous individuals are coming across our southern border, posing major threats to the people of the United States while we have global conflict taking place? Or is Biden ordering the block of most illegal immigrants entering the U.S. in this current surge as a result of the fact that it is an election year? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Is he finally heeding the warnings of the FBI, or is this a move to appeal to voters in an election year? Now, if you want to get the opinions of both the left and the right, I've got a video sponsored today that's going to be making sure that you get
ultimately, this is why you can't trust the American government, because it's ran by a whole bunch of liars, a whole bunch of devils. All right, And so that being said, we see that these things are going to start taking place. And when this happens, know that there's going to be stricter lockdowns. There's going to be stricter, what's it called? Pretty much like services to where you're going to have an ID. You're going to have something showing that you are an American citizen. All right. And proof of that. And so, Esau Edom, and he's moving down with his plan to uh, implement his NWO, man. All these things are taking place at the same time, man. And so this is why, as I read in First Peter 5:8, you got to be sober, you got to be vigilant, because we see that he's making moves, man. We see that everything that he's doing, it's all connected in some way or another, right? And so let's keep it going.
Angle of the story, but more on that later on in the video. But you guys, I'm going to be sharing with you the latest video footage so that way you can see it for yourself. As today, President Joe Biden, he's issuing executive orders, and they're saying this is going to be a temporary blockage of the U.S. border of migrants crossing in. I'm going to get you all the details so you know exactly what's going on. As we've heard, if this goes unanswered, this is a potential security threat to those living in the United States. We've heard warnings of major attacks, coordinated efforts, cyber attacks, physical attacks. So this is something that does need to be addressed. Now, let's go ahead and dive right in. But before we do me a quick favor. If you appreciate the updates, don't forget, take a quick second, hit that like button for me, subscribe to stay up to date. It's totally free. Why not? But with that being said, let's go ahead and get you caught up on the latest and the breaking news coming out of new executive orders by the president securing the southern border. Keeping up with the world we live in can be overwhelming, and in a world with media bias and mistrust.
So like he's doing a little ad.
When they fall below 1,500. But will this move be enough to appease either side of the aisle as immigration becomes a top election year issue? Will it make a difference?
Biden now scrambling to address the migrant crisis long after saying he's done all he can do in the issue. President granting permits to several border towns today to, quote, expand and continue to maintain crossings, whatever that means. While the administration is set to announce executive action for the border by tomorrow, limiting asylum claims. An estimated 5 million illegal immigrants have now crossed the southwest border during Biden's presidency, as former President Trump declares the border a day one priority.
Now I'm going to do the big deportation, the biggest ever. Eisenhower did the biggest. This will be bigger. But it's a very tough thing. What they've done to our country is unthinkable, that they could do this. And so many other things. I mean, like you go into New York, the kids can't have Little League games anymore. It sounds so trivial, right?
Why?
Because the migrants are living in the fields. They have all tents.
National Border Patrol Council Vice President Art Del Cueto joins us now. Art, would you please untangle for me what Biden is talking about? Is anything he's proposing, these maintaining crossings or these new executive orders, will it do anything to stem the flow of illegal migrants?
Look, it's quite a mess, and people need to understand that that mess was created by this administration. And if they were going to allow so many individuals to come into the country and ask for asylum, they surely had to have come up with a plan for those individuals that would not have an actual asylum claim. And
Hey there, I know you're in the middle of something, but I was wondering if we could just take a few seconds and read some scripture.
An actual asylum claim. And once again, they didn't even plan for that. So when you start talking about mass deportations, that's obviously something that this administration should have thought of in the first place. Not everyone that's asking for asylum has a real asylum claim. In fact, the majority of them don't. So somebody's got a plan for them to go to the actual court case and show what their claim is.
And if you remember, I did a lesson last week going into how these immigration people that are coming in, a lot of them are young men of fighting age, between ages of like 20 and 30, or 20 and 35. There's an age that they consider these men of like young men of war. They're able to go out to war. And so a lot of these immigrants that were coming through the border, they were the age of being at the age to go out to war. So this is a huge problem for you, quote unquote, Americans, because we know that a lot of this has to do with foreign troops being sent into America. So there's a lot of chaos that is going on that Esau is going to try to take control of. And ultimately, it's all leading up to the MOTB, man, to the mark of the beast, spoken about in Revelation 13, man. All right, and it's all coming through these small tidbits, through immigration issues, through crime rates going up because of the wars that are going on, because of the famine. All right, and so it's important to stay on your toes and know uh and keep up with as much as you can, man. You know.
Unfortunately, you're just getting more smoke and mirrors by this current administration right now. I mean, you remember they had that fast app at the border. That didn't work out. Again, I think it's just them reaching out, continuing to baffle the American public because they realize that, they created the mess and elections are coming up.
And the smoke and mirrors is what I want to parse through with you specifically right now. I saw a Wall Street Journal alert that indicated this executive action that Biden might be announcing later this week would potentially say, no more, I'm closing the border down. It's not going to have necessarily a threshold where a certain amount of, illegal migrants can cross per day. That seemed to be the discussion before. So what I'm hearing is there will be a lot of pushback to that. It's got to go through Congress. He needs money to be able to do it, and that it won't actually happen. So I see an election coming, a desperate president who's going to now flip-flop on his position, knowing that it can't actually be seen through. And this new policy that's coming out today is like he's drawing little drawbridges in places where the migrants will still know if they go to that spot, they can get over, Art.
Okay, so hey, she stated perfectly that you can see the the hesitance in these people, in these people, man, that trust in America. They're starting to look at America sideways, man, with that side eye, like, man, hey, man, what you got going on, man? And so, hey, this is all leading up to prophecy. So this is going to be the book of Second Ezra chapter 15, and I'm going to jump down to verse 16. It says, for there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. And we're coming into that time very soon, man, to where people, they're no longer going to be listening to the government officials. They're no longer going to be listening to anything that these people that are in those positions of power have to say, because they're realizing that America is not for them. They're realizing that their own government is against them. There's been talks of revolution. All right, you had that dude Maxwell uh Maxwell something, I forget his last name, Salaki. He was a guy that set himself on fire over there in New York. Excuse me. You have all these things going on, and that word sedition, when you get into it, it means rebellion, uprising, revolt, factitious commotion in the state. So that's what you're going
Are
to
you
see
ready to
going
take
on
control of your
pretty
financial
soon.
future?
Listen, with
imagine a world where you can invest on your own,
Esau,
where you have the
Edom, with
knowledge
all these
and
things being
skills to
shut
make
down,
informed investment decisions.
with all
And
this
luckily,
chaos
you
that
can
is
take
going
the
on,
first step
hey,
on
Esau
Webull.
is
And
going
once
to
you're
have
ready,
to
you can
find
invest with
some
as
way
little as
to
$5.
keep these
Webull
things
provides
on wraps,
real-time
man.
quotes,
All right, and
easy-to-use
so
charting tools, and more than
with that, man,
60
we'll go ahead and move on to our next
indicators
video.
and technical
All right.
signals which help you
And
analyze
so
the
I got
market
this
trends and the
this last
performance
video,
of a particular stock.
and
Best of all,
Can
you
you
can
please
interact
chip in
with
just $5
millions
while
of
my
global
dad is
investors
forced
in
to be
Webull's
an
community. It's
Autobahn
never too late to start
campaign while
investing.
he's fighting.
Get started with Webull.
But pretty much, what we're
That
seeing
if
with
China
this,
crushed
as you can see from the title, China threatens to crush U.S. and Taiwan, World War III. And so, these nations are getting more and more bold against America. They're starting to hate America. All right. And so, let's go ahead and grab this real quick. The book of Revelation, chapter 17 and verse 17. It says, or matter of fact, I'm going to start at verse 16. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. That's right. We know that these 10 horns is talking about the what? The EU, talking about NATO. All right. And so these different nations that were once in league with America, they're starting to turn against America, because everything that America is doing is not for the people, it's for their agenda. And more people are starting to slowly but surely wake up out of that drunkenness that America had them under. All right. And so it says in verse 16, verse 17, for Yahweh hath put in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of Yahweh shall be fulfilled. And these are the times that the words are being fulfilled. All right, the sedition among men, the invading of one another, nation against nation, earthquakes, uproars of the people, all these things are taking place. All these words are being fulfilled. And so all these countries are starting to turn against America right now, bucking up against it. Hey, if you even so much as cross this line, we're gonna annihilate you. That's what these nations are starting to say to America, man. And it's a beautiful sight to see. All right, because that means the end of Esau, Edom's kingdom, the so-called white man, the red Hebrew Edomite, the one who is ruling in wickedness with a continual stroke of wrath, man. You know, and so I'm gonna let this video play. Let me turn it up.
The United States who is defending them, they will be crushed to pieces and they will suffer their destruction. Now, I'm going to be sharing with you exactly what it was that he had to say and how this is indirectly being focused towards the United States and to the new leader of Taiwan. And China says that they are ready to forcefully stop Taiwan independence. In other words, they're saying they are ready to bring about war against Taiwan. We've already received warnings for quite some time, for several months now, from the FBI Director Wray, that China was planning to attack Taiwan, and that when that happens, we can expect to see infrastructure systems in the United States be compromised. Now, here's another article that just recently came out that says Taiwan separatists, they will be crushed, says the Chinese defense minister. The Chinese defense minister has told the Security Forum that China's army would forcefully stop Taiwan's independence. Taiwan has slammed the comments, calling them provocative and irrational, but China is increasing the pressure against Taiwan and against the United States. Let me know your thoughts. Are we on the brink of World War III? I've just shared with you over the past couple of weeks, articles coming out. It seems like it's going back and forth as we're getting things more and more intensified with Russia, NATO, the United States, Ukraine. And then on the other hand, we also have China, Taiwan, and the US mixed up in that. And we've heard people say, we've heard warnings coming out from these articles that if China invades Taiwan, that the United States will be hit and it will lead to World War III. Let me know, are we on the brink of World War III? And I'm losing track of going back and forth between the threats coming from Russia and from China now towards the United States. It seems like there is a lot going on with this. And I'm going to be keeping you guys up to date on everything. Now, do me a favor. I see that we've got about 738 people on with me live. Please hit that like button for me. It just takes a second. Helps spread this out further so more people can get the latest information. And again, this happening literally today. We're hearing that the defense minister for China coming out and making these statements saying that they are ready to forcefully stop Taiwan, and also saying that whoever dares to try to split Taiwan from China will be crushed to pieces and suffer their own destruction. Also, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button to stay up to date. It's totally free. I'll keep you up to speed on everything that's going on. Anything that you or your family need to know, you want to stay up to date on what's taking place, hit that subscribe button. And also stay connected off of social media platforms in case we are hit by cyber attacks. Communications might go down. If YouTube were to go down, you can stay connected to me at www.steveramnews.com. Again, that's www.steveramnews.com. But let me go ahead and get you guys caught up on the latest. I see we've got about 859 people with me in the room. Again, hit that like button. Shaky Moo, thank you so much for supporting the channel, giving out those memberships. I appreciate that a ton. I will continue to keep you guys up to date on everything. Now, let me share with you what it was that was said literally today by the Chinese Defense Minister Deng